Hi guys, welcome back to HHG Studios. And for those of you who don't know, HHG is for health, home and garden, and much more. Today we're going to be looking at how you can decorate your home so it looks expensive but doesn't cost you too much. So we're going to look at 10 different ways in which you can accomplish this. So stay with us. You know what I'm going to start with, right? It's all about decluttering. That's where you start, because there's nothing that can make a place not look so expensive as when you have so many things in the room, it just looks cluttered and overdone. So you want to declutter. You want to have less items in the room. If you have too many furniture pieces, pare down. But another thing I find is on kitchen and bathroom counters. Clear those counters off. Just have a few items on it, hopefully decorative items. Put away additional things inside drawers, inside cupboards. And the things you have to have on your counter, if you just place them in a basket or a tray, it makes a big difference. So you want to start with decluttering. Number 2 is reducing the colors, the amount of colors you have in any room. When you have too many colors, the room is just plain not restful. The eyes are being drawn in all sorts of direction. So it's best to limit your colors to no more than 3. That means 3 main colors. But you could also have just one color and different shades of that color. By limiting your colors to 3, it doesn't mean that, say you have a fabric and it has 5 colors in it, that's counting. It's the dominant colors that you want to reduce, and especially the colors on walls. Avoid also making the colors too strong. Interior colors are best when they are muted. If you love color, sure, have some colors on the walls, even bright colors, but balance that off with softer colors in other areas of the room. If you really love colors, bring those in accessories. And we're going to talk a little bit more about accessories later. Number 3 is patterns and textures. Now you can mix several patterns in a room. You don't have to. There are persons who believe you should have one pattern fabric and everything else is plain. That makes your room a bit boring. What you want to do is mix patterns, but keep in mind scale. And I'm going to show you a little bit of what I'm talking. Here's this cushion. I'm going to turn it around because I want to have the green showing as well. This green. Large pattern. The colors are pretty much very muted, but it could be bright colors if that's what you like. Now, here is what I mean by scale. This is a large pattern. This repeats the same kind of pattern, but in a much smaller scale. You notice this shape is pretty much the same, but a lot of the fabric manufacturers will actually do coordinates, what I call coordinates, where that is done for you. They put the patterns that can go together. We could have put in another pattern, but in this case, I'm just going to show you now. We've brought in another fabric that is plain, picking up on this green. So you actually have all three, and you could add more if you wish. Now on to the importance of using several textures in a room. Regardless of whether you have a lot of color or not, and especially when you don't have a lot of color, say you have a very neutral room, textures are very important. So you should have, like for example, this, I don't know if you can actually see it, but this is a very textured raised pattern fabric. And this one has a more linen texture. And then you could have a lamp that is smooth in the room. Rugs tend to bring in textures a lot. So it's important when you have a combination of several textures, it adds that richness to your room. So keep in mind colors and textures and combining them. If you have a room that is very neutral, say off-white room or even white, it's very important. Unless you have textures, your room is gonna fall flat. Textures is what brings everything to life. Okay, we're on to number 4, and I think I've kind of introduced that already in the form of throw cushions, which I just love. Throw cushions are one of the best ways and the cheapest ways, or if you prefer the word, economical ways to bring excitement to your rooms. A mix of throw cushions, whether in your living room or in your bedroom. So don't forget to do that. But when you place things, layering is very important. So don't just have the throw cushions, all of them the same, running across the back of the sofa or on the bed. Do a mix where you have different sizes and different shapes. And in a corner of a sofa, for example, you should try to do maybe 3. Make the cushion at the back larger, or the largest of the 3. Then you have, say, a 22 cushion at the back. Then you do a 18 by 18 in front of that. And then an envelope cushion. And all 3 of these can be different patterns, different textures. And you just have to keep remembering the scale is what is important. And also, I should have said that before, carrying the colors throughout. So layering on your bed as well. Like if you're doing your bed and you don't want to just do a flat spread, include a blanket or throw at the bottom and layer the pillows and the cushions at the top, at the headboard. So they're not just running flat across, but some are to the front, some are standing to the back, some are high, some are low, some are in between. Next is drapery panels. And by adding drapery panels to your rooms, you add a more luxurious touch. It's important though that these panels are not too short. They must go down to just an inch above the floor. They can even lie on the floor and puddle, which gives that extra luxurious look. But there are so many drapery panels available in the stores now. It's even hard to choose because there are so many. Or you can have them made. If you have extra tall windows, it's best to have them custom made because they're usually just about 2 lengths readily available in the stores. And if your windows are tall, they're going to look funny. So choose drapery panels that go right down to the floor or almost touching the floor, or even spreading out on the floor a little bit, depending on where the location is. A way to cut costs on drapery for your windows, especially if you have large windows or a lot of windows, is to just use stationary panels on either side of the window and then do shears in the middle, full shears in the middle. Shears are very cost effective and the panels can stay on the outside, especially if it's a window where you don't need a lot of privacy. You can actually just use stationary panels. You just need one on one side and one on the other, and then shears in the middle. Okay, number 5 is doing something interesting with your doors. If your budget allows, then it would be nice to add skirtings and moldings to your wall. But if not, why not just paint your doors in a contrasting color to your walls so they stand out as a feature? No, you don't want to be painting all your doors in a different color. Remember, this is not a kindergarten or an ice cream parlor. So you choose a nice rich color for your doors with contrast with your paint colors and carry this right throughout. You can also buy trims at the hardware store and add those to your doors in different patterns. And this will add a kind of an architectural finish to the doors. Now we're on to number 7. And that one is about art and the importance of hanging art on your wall. Now, your budget may not allow you to buy the most expensive paintings and hang on the wall. But what about getting some prints and framing them, properly framing them, hopefully in the same color, and hanging them as a series on the wall, like 4 together or 2 together, 2 on a tall, narrow wall, 4 on a wider wall. And that can actually look very good and add some spunk to your room. When choosing prints, you could make them related. For example, you could choose botanical prints, you could choose prints with birds, or you could choose prints that are black and white, and then keep the frames the same. And then you combine these on your walls, and that adds so much to your room when you walk in and you see these art pieces. So you're gonna have them appropriately placed, which is not too high, but at eye level, and the sizes must be appropriate to the other elements in the room. Don't have a tiny painting over a big sofa. When you're placing art, they must appear to be communicating with the other elements that they're placed with. Number 8 is adding plants and fresh flowers whenever you can. Now, I have a preference for fresh plants, real plants. But there are times, and if that's what you like, when faux plants, especially if they're the type which you cannot detect that they're faux plants from a distance off, if they're good faux plants, you can add them to your rooms. And especially rooms that are locked up or rooms that are dark, for example, a bathroom. Remember though that fresh plants are good for cleaning the air in your rooms. Adding fresh flowers is a good way to lift your spirit as you enter your home. Now, if you can afford to buy fresh flowers, even once a month, that's great. But if not, how about just picking things along the road or from your garden, growing plants that flower with that in mind. So you have something to cut and put in your vase. Now, if it's not flowers, foliage can do a wonderful job as well. Now, there are several foliage plants which will add color and texture and excitement to your rooms. And you can get those for free outside. I know that crotons are very good at that. There are lots of other plants. Just put them in a vase, put them in the right vase. And by the way, remember there's a video I did before on how to do your own floral arrangements. So you can check that one out. Now we're on to number 9, and that's about bathroom and kitchen faucets and knobs. Nothing outdates your space or these rooms more than when you have dingy or old-fashioned knobs and faucets. And these can be easily changed out. You can actually do these yourself. Just make sure you have the right size. You measure the size of the existing one, so you get a similar length if they're long ones. If they're knobs, that's easy, but you get the similar length, so the holes, you don't even have to change the holes. You just take the old one off and add the new one. So you can start changing these out, if you wish, one room at a time. Now we're on to number 10 and final. And this one is accessories. Accessories are very important in any room decor. But what is important, if you remember, number 1 was decluttering. And oftentimes the clutter comes from accessories. Too many things all over the place. You want to limit your accessories. Less is more. Choose items that are striking and outstanding, and maybe larger pieces. And when you have smaller pieces, group them. Okay, so visual interest is very important when you want to achieve that luxurious look. You don't want to have so much that the whole beauty of the place is lost, because there's just too much going on. So remember, less is more, so simplify. So that's it. I hope you found this useful. Now here's my challenge to you. When you have made your changes, send us some pics so we can see what you're doing. Remember now to like, share with your friends, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.